Welcome to Talk to Him, a weekly show where we discuss self help strategies, pop culture, music, education, fashion, relationships, and how it all links to financial success. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at TalkToHimJ. Okay, and of course, I'm your host. My name is James Levesque. Vibe with me. Talk to him. All right, we got a special guest in the studio with us today, folks. All right, she is a an amazing author. All right, she is an educator, community activist, and matter of fact, that I mentioned, she is the number one children selling author, children selling book author in the world right now. We got to speak it into existence. All right, we got to speak it into existence. Let's see. Okay. All right. So, we're just gonna rock out. So, we have Miss Danielle Grant right here in the studio with us today. Danielle, how you doing today?
I am doing good. How are you doing?
Yeah.
Thanks for having me, man.
Thank you. Appreciate you pulling up, man. I know you on a world tour right now with this book, and to make time for the little people. You know what I mean? We really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Everybody's significant, and everybody counts. But God has been good, and He's opening up the doors, and I'm just showing up to propagate this book and the message.
No, you're doing a great job, man. Thank you so much for that. Listen, folks, if you do not have this book, My Hair Story, make sure, if you have children, okay, if you have children, make sure you get them for your children, because this right here is the game changer. We got to start planting these seeds early. Okay, we got to start planting these seeds early. Danielle, I want to ask you, why did you decide that I'm going to write a children's book on hair?
On hair.
Yeah, on hair.
That's a great question. So I've written before. Mm-hmm. I've published 2 books before. Trajectory, A Journey to Transformation, and I also have On the Journey. And so there were devotionals, and that was my genre. I thought I found my niche in writing books. But God has an amazing way of doing things, mm-hmm. and so He inspires, and He knows what we're supposed to do. He knows the way that we're supposed to take, obviously. And so I have 3 daughters, mm-hmm. By the way, and my second daughter, her hair is a little bit more complicated than the first, and as a result of that obstacle, God just breathed that story, and we developed it, and it's out now. And so I wrote it with the intent to inspire her, and we broaden it to inspire other little girls who might be going through the things that she was facing when we initially started.
It's crazy, man. Is hair really that major? Especially in all right, hair is major,
yes,
right? But do you think it has to do with your identity?
Absolutely. Studies have shown, research have been done, that women feel very confident. They feel more attractive when their hair is done. They feel like they could take on the world. I feel like I could take on the world when my hair is done, versus when I'm having a bad hair day. I'm a little bit more skeptical. I second guess myself. You don't feel as confident as you normally would when your hair is done. So certainly hair plays a tremendous role in our identity as women.
Okay, that's crazy, because I just started learning about hair.
Yeah.
I started letting my
even
hair,
as men.
Listen, I just started letting my hair grow out.
Well.
And no, see, so this is what I found out about hair.
Yes.
Right? So hair is our third sensor. You know what I mean? So a lot of times, whenever it is that we might be in danger, our hair goes up. Let's say if we,
it's an indicator.
Yeah, it's an indicator.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I started learning about that. I just started learning about how our hair carries energy. You know what I mean? So
Yes.
I was like, man, I ain't cut my hair for a while.
Well.
You know? That's just not that's
But
where
even
I'm at.
even men studies have also shown that when men start losing their hair,
Yeah.
they don't feel as confident as they did when they had, full hair. And that's why they go through different routes, laser hair care, all these kind of things to kind of like cover that little bald spot. So hair has tremendous components when it regards to our self-esteem and our confidence.
Yeah, you know what I think? Yo, people who were haters, right? I was just no bull, right? People who were haters.
Yeah.
God always sees that you're hating.
Oh.
And he's like, you know what? Let me take a little bit off them edges. Let me take a little bit off them edges, okay? So when you see people like, with a nice big bald spot, they was haters on the low.
Man,
okay?
Man.
So that's what happens when you hate God. Just be like, all right, let me take one out for you, okay?
I don't know if I could agree totally because, women go through so many plights with hair, alopecia, thinning of the hair, sensitive subject like cancer.
Yeah.
And so it's not something that we often think about, and how that affects a person and their how they see themselves,
yeah.
whether they see themselves as beautiful or not because of their hair. So these things happen, and we were all front row seats the other day at the Academy Awards.
Oh yeah.
When a joke was made, and the after effects, the aftermath of that, because one of the actresses was suffering from alopecia. So hair is vast, and the subject matter is totally vast. Yeah.
No, I agree, man. I agree.
Yes.
But I don't know. So you really think so let me ask you this: does hair give us like a sense of like belonging?
Yes, like I said, even for example. Professionally, when you walk into your place of employment, you want to feel a certain kind of way. You want to feel like you belong. And so historically, and that's why there's been so much conversations around hair, black hair in particular, how a woman walk into the office, like, is she wearing her fro? Is she, wearing extensions? You know what I mean? So for a long time, and I think we kind of talked about perm hair, that sometimes societally that's what's accepted, the perm, because you look, according to them, you look more refined. And so it depends on where you go. So societally there's a norm, developmentally there's a norm, culturally. And so certainly there is a sense of belonging that you feel depending on how your hair is groomed.
So let me ask you this: do you think like that puts a lot of with black women in the workplace, right? Do you think they almost have to go like the perm route? Because if they come out with the afro, is that like too demanding? Even in the workplace, hair has something to do with it. You know what I'm saying? How do you do you think how do you think people should go into the workplace with their hair? Should it be natural? Should they consume towards the workplace environment? You know what I mean?
And that's a broad question, but I think to each his own. When it comes on to hair, and I do have my own personal standards of how I want to look, how I want to be perceived. So I groom my hair like that. But recently, Massachusetts, they passed the Crown Act.
What's the Crown Act?
So the Crown Act is given allowance for individuals to go into the workplace, to go into those areas, professional areas, with how they want their hair, how they feel about their hair. And so this was recently passed in Massachusetts not too long ago. I think it was last month, if I'm not mistaken.
Wow.
And so we have come a long way with accepting women going in, whether they have dreads or afro. It's something. So we're not going to discriminate. Not to say that they're not going to, but you can't say, oh, your hair is not done, or this is not fitting for the workplace. The Crown Acts protect a woman or whomever from being discriminated, or
you think that happens a lot in the workplace in today's society?
Of course it does. Like I said, everybody has their biases. Everybody has their standards of what they think is professional, and that's why back then, historically, many women went to perming their hair because it was accepted, it was the norm. But things are changing, and we're thankful for that. Yes.
Yeah, I would tell you this. Like, I don't know, certain. Not all girls can just get away with the natural hair like that. In my opinion, you know what I mean? Some girls like it's okay, you know what I mean? Just you might have to perm that, right? You know?
Oh Lord!
I ain't gonna front it. I ain't gonna front it. I'm a little bit jaded, you know. I've been in America too long.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So sometimes, like.
And that's the beauty of this book.
Yeah.
Is to start from an early age, telling our Black girls to love their hair, regardless of the texture, regardless of the length, regardless of the kinks and the naps, or whatever we want to call it, that you're going to love your hair. And so I know other people have opinions of what they should do, but at the core, we're starting from early. I'm starting in my home. Hey girl, you're gonna love your hair just the way that it is.
You know what I love? I love the fact that in your book that you gave the dad a special appearance.
Yes.
And I love that, because, it shows that a father is a big part of a girl's,
development.
Development.
Yes.
Let me ask you this. Where do you think a child gets their confidence from?
Well, let me start from my home.
Yeah.
I believe that a child's self-esteem, a child's confidence, a child's self-worth, how they think about themselves starts from home. It begins at home, and I've had many conversations with on the book, and I believe that a mom has a great influence on her daughter while combing her hair. It's a bonding experience.
That's true.
And I think many parents back then, generationally, have missed out on the opportunity to bond with their girls. I find this to be quite therapeutic with my daughters and I, to talk about things that affect them, talk about things that's going on at school, talk about ask me questions, and it's like the greatest time. And it's around here. But what has happened, and I almost got sucked into the past cultural experience with hair, when my daughter was having trouble, because her hair is much shorter, as you can see on the book. And this is where even the conversation started. Like, whoa, we have not seen a book, and I've not seen a book yet, with a girl with this length hair on the cover of a black book.
That's right.
It's a matter of representation. Right? We have seen girls with fuller texture hair, longer hair, what we would deem pretty hair on the cover of black children's book. But here, my daughter couldn't see that because that's not her textured hair. Right? And so we see it right here. She saw herself. So when the book came, she was like, Mommy, that's me.
Yeah.
So right there, we broke something. But to go back to what I was saying is that many parents, many moms have missed the moment with their daughters.
Why is that?
And I almost missed the moment because one, her hair is not full. Her hair is not long. And so she was crying a lot. I had a hard time catching the little strands because it was shorter.
Right.
And I almost lost my patience with combing her hair. I almost was like, I can't do this. I almost was at the point when she's crying, like, stop crying. Like, what are you crying for? And started to compare her with your sister. Like, your sister never cried. Your sister just fell asleep and I combed her hair and she woke up and she was good. What's up with you? I almost got sucked into that to make her have a miserable experience. Because I've seen it with myself growing up. You took whatever hairstyle you got from your mother. You couldn't cry because you get a slap to say, what are you crying for? Sit down, get your hair done. All these kind of things. And many moms or parents, grandparents don't know the mental impact that's having on a little girl at that moment. how she sees herself.
Yeah.
Right? And so I recognize, like, whoa, I gotta shift this. I gotta change this. I got to allow her to see. I can't compare her to her other sister who has a different texture here. I have to realize she has something different.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna have to be patient with her, give her a voice to say, "Mommy, it hurts," because maybe her head was tender,
Yeah.
and I wasn't paying attention, and maybe your daughter, her hair was tender, and you missed it,
Yeah.
and now she grew up feeling some negative way about herself, not even about her hair alone, but about herself, because now I don't have a voice. I can't say to my mom, "It hurts," or "Mom, I don't like that hairstyle," because she's not listening. You know what I mean? There's no real bonding happening there, because you can't conversate, because all you're focusing on, let my hair, I just want to be done. I just want to be done.
Yeah.
And mom wants to get done because she's frustrated with your hair. And so we've missed many things. And I said to myself, I'm not gonna miss the moment. I want my daughter to recognize, yes, you have a hair that is different from your sisters. You have a hair that's different from what I've been known to comb.
Yeah.
But you know what? I am gonna make sure that you love your hair.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make sure that you don't feel based on my vibration, based on my mood when I'm coming. I'm not gonna, no.
Yeah.
I am gonna do the best that I can to groom your little kinky hair. And when I'm done, you're gonna feel good about yourself.
I agree.
Got to break. I had to break that.
When was that? When that shift happened?
The shift happened when I found myself. I'll be honest. I found myself getting frustrated because she's crying.
Yeah.
It's short, and I'm like, "Girl, just get this hair done." And I recognize. You know what, Danielle? You can either continue a pattern. You could continue a generational pattern that affected you and pass it on to your daughter, or you could change it by changing you. And so I like what you said. It's not just about the little girl. It's about her mom.
And her mom.
I like also you asked the dad being represented.
Yeah,
in the book.
you give him a special guest appearance. I like that.
It was important.
Yeah.
It was critical because dads have to realize that they play a crucial role.
Yeah.
In the development of their daughters, in particular, we're talking about this book, their daughter's life. It's not just about buying presents. It's about being present. It's not just about, picking her up from school. Those things are great, but you need to affirm her. Her first, the girls, that's why they call them daddy's girl for a reason. You got to affirm that little girl. You got to tell her that she's beautiful. You got to tell her that she's gorgeous. You got to tell her these kind of things. And that boosts her self-esteem, her self-confidence.
That's true.
And how she shows up in the world. And so you can see the daddy says what he says. I love, I'm so loved, can't you see?
Yeah.
My hair is a reflection of me. Really, it's a reflection of what my daddy says.
That's true.
How I show up in the world.
Yo, if you're listening out there and you're a father, make sure you tell your baby girls that she's beautiful, okay? Yes. Or else there's going to be a little Tyrone or Laquan that's going to tell her, "Hey, boo, you're so beautiful." And then he don't really mean it. Right. You know what I mean? He does not even really mean it. So fathers, we have to make sure that we do that. One thing that you mentioned was the fact that like a lot of people, a lot of young ladies now is not like, getting that quality time by getting their hair done by the older people in their generation or in their household. You know what I mean? And that's where a lot of wisdom happens. I think a lot of folks is now, the grandmothers is young. They're in the club now. They're in the club now, so they ain't got time to be doing nobody's hair. You know what I mean? But that's the gap. You know what I mean? If you really look at it, people, there's a lot of craziness happening in this world. You know what I mean? Like women are going crazy, men are going crazy. A lot of people are going crazy. But like even now when I get my hair braided, right, it's really like somebody got you. You know what I mean? Like they putting whatever in there. In it's like a sensitive moment.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And that's a way where you can actually get a lot of wisdom.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Know how to move, know what not to do, what not, where not to go. So the hair is really, really, really important.
You know what I found the other day? An old journal that I had. I forgot that I had that journal, and you just mentioned something, and it just sparked that a journal where the grandmother was combing the mother's hair, and the mother was combing the little girl's hair, and the little girl was combing the doll's hair. So it's generational how that bond is. And I was like, wow, I forgot that I had the journal, but it was such a powerful picture to depict how you can pass down wisdom, like you just mentioned, a wealth of knowledge. And it's just by just combing hair. I've learned so much about my children from just doing their hair.
Daniel, let me ask you this: how is like your hair? How you mentioned like your hair is a reflection of you, right? How I don't get that. Like how is your hair like a reflection of you? Like is it like explain that to me? You know what I mean?
It's multi-layered, but if once our readers get the book, they'll begin to understand why that is done. But like I said earlier, when we opened up, that studies have shown that when a woman's hair is done, she feels confidence. She feels like she can take on the world, and so the reflection is like, I'm embracing
who you are,
who I am. I embracing my hair. I'm embracing myself, who I am, what makes me unique. And in this particular case, it's the hair. It could be a plethora of things for different people, but my hair is a reflection of me. When you see me, you know what I mean? When you hear me, this is the essence and the core of who I am. So when you see me, I'm confident. My hair is a reflection of that. You know what I mean? Because I love my hair. I love the uniqueness of it. I love the texture of it. And that's what I try to teach my daughter. I'm loved. My hair is a reflection of that. It's like it's coming from the core, the depths, your soulish area, a part that nobody can touch. It's a reflection of me. So whether it's in a fro, whether it has beads, whether it's braided, whether it's rope twist, whether it's in a bintu knot, or from the islands you call it Chinese bun, whatever hairstyle I have, that's a reflection of me.
I like that.
Yes.
I like that.
Yes.
You're so passionate about it.
I am. I had a generational curse to break.
No,
yes.
I feel you. So, let me see. There's something that when I go into public, right, and I see like especially like this younger generation now, they be having on like this bonnet, you know what I mean? Like people be wearing this bonnet, like I'm like, yo, you really gonna come out with the bonnet? Like, is it just me? I be like, I just always think like this. I just certain ways you shouldn't just step out the house. You know what I mean? And it's not anything towards negative. It's just like, like, you really gonna come out with the bonnet. And now dudes are coming out with the bonnet. Boys are coming out with the bonnet. You know what I mean? Is it once again, that always goes back towards wisdom. Because if you was getting your hair done, you know what I mean? Your grandmother, your moms, whoever it is, they'll tell you better not go out that house with that bonnet on. You know what I mean? And it's this generation. What's your thoughts on that?
Hear my thoughts on that. One, it's also reflected in the book where she wears a head tie to cover her hair, to protect it.
But she wore it to bed. She wore it to bed. She didn't wear that outside.
She wore it to protect her hair.
She wore it to bed.
Her hairstyle had to last.
Right.
But like I said, to each your own. I know that women wear bonnets out nowadays because one, it's a bad hair day, and it's a way of covering the bad hair day. It's also they may be treating their hair at the moment. They may have some conditioner underneath that, some hair treatment underneath that.
That's
and
a
so
good
they're
one.
like, I'm not gonna let this restrict me from going out, to get things done. And plus, they're stylish these days. These bonnets are quite stylish. And so they wear it for different reasons. Some of them they're running into the hair store because they're gonna pick up hair products to go get their hair done, to go to the hairdresser and take that bad boy off. But again, it's to each their own. I am not here to judge. I know that I've run out once or twice
With the bonnet on?
with a bonnet
Whoa!
on to drop my daughter off to school or something. But for me, it's not how I style myself going out. And so I that's not how I dress, but I understand why many women do it. I know some people don't prefer it, but I understand why many women do, and I just listed quite a few of them, and many of them are going to say, yeah. And again, they're so stylish, you can't even tell these days what's on the head.
I can tell. I can tell. I was like, yeah, that's
so
lit.
it's not your preference, but
I don't know. That ain't my preference. What's wrong with you? What? Like what?
Yeah.
That's not a good look, And I just don't think that's not sexy. That's
all right. Well, he
that's
thinks it's not.
Okay, let me ask you. You're a married woman, right?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Have you gone to the bed with your husband there and you got the head, the bonnet on, or the mouchoir? You know what I mean?
Is that what it's called? Yes, yes, I have.
What does he say?
Nothing. I don't think a genuine loving husband, really, especially you've been establishing your relationship and marriage for a while, I don't think they are quite concerned about that, because there's time and place if we're gonna go down that road. And I don't, there's time and place. Yes, if we're out on vacation and stuff like that, maybe not, maybe afterwards, you're really going to bed, you may put it on. But on a regular weeknight or regular stuff, life is busy. I mean, a genuine loving husband is not caring about that. All he wants, to know is that, listen, you're clean, you're boom.
Yeah.
They don't care about that kind of stuff.
You asked him?
I know that.
You know how you know?
I know it's been years. I don't think they really care about that. Obviously, if you want us, do something extra, you're not gonna necessarily do that. But on a regular weeknight, and everybody's chilling and going to bed, no.
Throwing the bonnet.
No, you can do that. It says time. Yes, absolutely.
Yo, so listen,
Absolutely.
right? Yo, in your book, there's some. I remember this. There's a section in your book where you
Yes.
talk about affirmations, activities, right?
Yes.
How does affirmations help
Mm-hmm.
children, even adults? Because I just started getting into affirmations.
Yes.
Why did you incorporate that into the book?
Yeah. So, like I said earlier, it's a great question. Like I said earlier, this book was, firstly for her, but then I also recognize the story. The essence of the story was firstly for her. But as I was writing, I recognized that other young girls like herself go through the same thing, and they don't see things like these on the shelves that can help them. And so I thought about this, and we put it in there to affirm them, to let them know. And we use different adjectives to let them know, like authentic, confident, things of that. There's also a week long, because I was also thinking about Black girls in schools who don't see these kind of books. As an educator, you don't see these books there. And so I wanted to change the narrative, if you will. And so I incorporated affirmations to uplift them, to drive them, to also give them new vocabulary as well, and to make them feel at the core good about themselves and about who they are. And like you said, even adults are getting into it as well, because it really helps. It really boosts your self-esteem. It really pushes you to go beyond your comfort zone. And this is essentially what this is all about. And so I kind of also wanted to move away from here when we got down to the affirmations, to let them know it's in any area. any area that you might be having a struggle with.
That's true.
You're confident.
Yeah.
We're gonna change it. We're gonna change the narrative. I don't want to hear you say I can't, or no, you can. You will.
Mm-hmm.
This is who you are at the core. You may struggle a little bit. You may find something unique about you, but you're going to embrace it. And you're going to use words of affirmation to push you to the next realm.
We're going to go right into our sponsors with that. This show is brought to you by LEG. Get a leg up on the entertainment industry. Shout out to the good folks over at Shop. Talk to them. They got some fly apparel. Make sure you guys check them out. Green to Clean. All right, green to clean services, CCG Gains, Community Capital Gains. All right, let's help build your business credit, and of course the good folks over at Eats with Ree. All right, so this show is really about. When I wanted to do this show, it's really about how all of our decisions either lead towards financial success or towards financial failure. How was that process with you writing that book? You writing this book? How did that process go? Like, how did you go about it?
I don't. If I'll be honest with you, I don't think that I went about it in the way that traditional children's book authors did.
Yeah.
And perhaps they many of them may have done it the way that I did.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, it wasn't a genre that I was looking toward. I was, like I said, I thought I'd found my niche in writing devotionals and things like that. But I was inspired
Mm-hmm.
by my daughter, and it really, the words just came out of her situation.
Mm-hmm.
And I sat down with it for several months to develop the story, the content, and all this kind of stuff, and to even the sketches. I did all the sketches because I knew exactly what I wanted. I knew what I wanted to convey. I knew that I wanted, even every day, that her hairstyle changed, because I also wanted parents to see that you may be having a problem with the shortness of her hair, but there's so many ways that you can style it to still make her beautiful. So everything was intentional, and so it took me several months, close to a year,
to put the book together.
To put it together. Wow. The way that I did. I had 8 manuscripts.
What's manuscripts? What's that?
So the book, the book,
and so I had
to, so I had to go back. I had to remove things, put things, edit, a lot of editing.
Did you do it yourself?
I pretty much did, and then at the end I had individuals that read the book. Those that I thought were literary brilliant, and so they read it over, and almost every person that read the manuscript, the last manuscript, was like, whoa. And I was like, don't just say, wow, is it true? They're like, no, I've not read this before. I've not seen a book like this before. And so that kind of allowed me to be confident, more confident in the book. I was confident in the beginning, but once I got those kind of, affirmations from others and the feedback, I was like, all right, we can do something with this. And then I started sketching out what I wanted it to look like, all this stuff, her crown, all this kind of stuff was quite intentional on my part, and I was very adamant about ensuring that it was done. So it took me a while to get here, and we're here. And we released in July, and it was #1 in many categories on Amazon, and it's being dispersed into different areas right now. I have a book signing tomorrow, and I have several activities coming up later on this year and into next year already with regards to the book. So I believe that people are seeing it for what it's supposed to be, and the doors have been flung open to have these kind of conversations. And like, I saw you at Panera Bread, and Panera. I was like, hey, get a book, and so you did, and so we're here. And so it's the impact that it's having and so it took a while.
Yeah.
But I'm so glad that I was able to do this. And the truth of the matter is, and I say this very humbly, that even if I didn't write this story,
Yeah.
I would have wanted somebody to. That's how I feel about it. And I see you talk about the hair. The hair just started rising on my. Even if I didn't write this story, I would have wanted somebody to write this, because my daughter would have needed this book.
Yeah. No, that's a dope book, man.
Yes.
How can people purchase the book?
So you can absolutely go on Amazon. I have a page up right now, or you can go on my website.
What's the website?
It's the annual grant. Let me pull it up real quick. I have so many features, but I'll pull it up for you real quick.
So on Amazon,
but it's on Amazon right now as well. I can also supply those who need it.
Yeah.
And I also I'm also on Goodreads. That's a door that just opened. So I'm also on Goodreads, and then again, my website. You could flash that right when we're done. So it's there. So lots of places that we are right now, and again, it's also in the bookstore at Frugal Bookstore in Roxbury, Massachusetts. So copies are there as well.
Where's your book signing going to be?
It's going to be at Frugal Bookstore tomorrow. Tomorrow from 1 to 2:30, and then later on next month I'm going to be at the library doing activities in my area. So quite a few places.
Absolutely. Danielle, thank you so much for pulling up.
Of course.
You know what I mean, folks? Make sure you
My Hair Story.
An
inspirational children book that empowers black girls.
That empowers black girls
to embrace.
Folks. Okay.
Their unique beauty.
Their unique beauty.
Yes.
All right. Make sure you guys go get this book for your babies, because this is definitely gonna sow the right seed about their hair and their growth and their confidence and their development.
Mm-hmm.
You already know it's your main man Jay. Danielle, thank you so much for coming
Thank you, James. I think this is phenomenal what you're doing. I think this is outstanding. So thank you for having me. Appreciate you.
Yes. Live, love, light. I'll holla. Peace and blessings.